welcome to another episode of Traditional Gourmet. How many times does this happen to you? You wake up in the morning, walk in the kitchen, and your bananas look like this. Now, if you just got one, it's not that big a deal. You can eat it that morning. However, if you've got a whole bunch of bananas, then you've got to do something with them, and you've got to do something with them quick. So tonight, we're going to be talking about banana bread. I like walnuts in my banana bread, and my wife loves walnuts in the banana bread, and there's a long story behind that. But we're going to just skip right to the recipe and we'll get cooking from here. All right, so we're back. So what we're going to start off with is I've got a teaspoon of vanilla extract in here, and I've got 2 tablespoons of honey. And that'll come in later when we add the sugar. But I want to add a little bit of honey instead of sugar. It's more natural and I like the flavor of it. So we're going to start off with 3 very ripe bananas. And we'll get those peeled. We'll get them into the bowl here, along with our honey and our vanilla. And then we're going to mash them up, just like so. You can do this with a fork if you want. A whip will work well too. Make sure you get down to the bottom. Get it mashed really well. And you'll see as it mashes, it's going to become more and more liquidy. If you want to leave it a little bit chunky, you can. You'll have a little bitty chunks of banana throughout your banana bread. Or you can completely mix it and get it completely liquefied. I'm going to opt for just leaving a few little chunks in there, variety of texture. So next we're going to add 4 ounces of melted butter. So we'll get that in. Mix that up well. There we go. And here's our 1/2 cup of brown sugar and 1 egg well beaten. We'll mix those in. And that brown sugar is going to take a little bit to dissolve. And you notice it's going to come out a lot darker than it would if you use just regular granulated sugar. Now to this, we're going to add 1.5 cups of self-rising flour. And actually at this point, I'm going to switch over to a spoon just because that batter is going to get pretty thick. All right, so we got a spatula. We're just going to mix in this 1.5 cups of self-rising flour. I'm going to be using the white lily flour, which is that soft wheat flour like I've used with my biscuits and brownies. And I believe this will give it a much nicer texture. It'll be fluffier. Also important to remember is don't overmix this. Even though it is banana bread, technically it's a cake. If you overmix it, it's not going to rise as much. So if we have little bits of lumps in there, it's all right. So as you can see, we're getting pretty homogenized. And I've got walnuts, like I said. So I've got 1/2 cup walnuts. So we're going to put 1/2 of these in the mix. We'll mix these in. Just like that. And then I've got a loaf pan, basic loaf pan. Now what I've done is taken it, pan spray on the inside, and then I've sprinkled cinnamon, ground cinnamon. And what that's going to do is it's going to give it a little variation of color on the outside once we get it out. And then, of course, it's going to add some cinnamon flavor to it. So, here we go. Put this in. All right, next we're going to take the rest of the walnuts. Just sprinkle them along on top. Try to get it even if you can, but honestly, it really doesn't make much of a difference. All right, so from here, we're going to go into an oven at 350 degrees. We'll go ahead and rotate it halfway through. It should take anywhere between 45 and 60 minutes, depending on the depth of your pan and your oven. Some ovens cook faster, some ovens cook slower. It just depends. I'm working with my 40-year-old oven, so it's not as quick as it used to be. All right, so I'm going to get this in, and then we'll check back when it gets close to time. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and check this and see how we're doing. So I got this skewer, we'll put that in. If it comes out wet, we need to go longer. If it comes out dry, I think we're done. Give it a little touch. It's pretty firm. It gives a little bit, but springs right back. So I think we are ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this out, and we'll let it rest at room temperature for about 15 minutes, and then we'll pop it out of the loaf pan. Okay, we're back. We've had our banana bread sit out at room temperature for about 15 minutes. I've taken it right out of the pan. It literally fell right out, no problems whatsoever. We're gonna let it sit another 15-20 minutes at room temperature to cool down. Then it'll be ready for slicing. You can notice the different coloration around the edge where the batter made contact with the pan that I had sprinkled with cinnamon. So when you cut it open, you're gonna notice that coloration, the outside and the inside. It's gonna give it a nice little variation. Anyway, that's all for now. Hope you guys enjoy this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.